come here to chew bubblegum.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
How's it going today, Cronkite?
It's fantastic after hearing that music.
Oh,
It
yes.
just puts me in a good mood.
Does that not just get you pumped up?
It certainly does.
Oh, it's been a great week so far. Weather's been good.
The weather has been good.
It was a little windy yesterday, but, I will actually look over that just a little bit.
I tell you what, though, it's been a little stressful as far as, I don't know if anybody else is struggling with it, but allergies. This has been probably one of the worst pollen seasons ever. You know what? Why?
Well, I just wanted to show you some.
When do I get buttons over here?
I don't know.
What does this button
No,
do?
no.
What does this button do?
No. Let's not start pushing buttons. Coming up Sunday, we'll be back in Bunker Studios for episode 29.
That's exciting stuff.
Before we start out, I want to thank Elliot, Gertie, and Beagle, also known as Elliot and the Spooky Family, for filling in for us last week. They co-hosted the show, episode 28. If you've not heard that yet, I highly recommend you go check that out.
Indeed.
And we're going to be talking about that episode a little bit more in segment 1.
Very fun episode. Thank you to the Spooky Family.
They
for,
did a great job.
stepping in and ruining our opening
They
music.
They didn't. That was, whoever had the idea to do it that way is a genius.
I thought it was pretty cool.
You do know who had the idea to open it up that way, right?
I'm assuming I'm looking at him.
Yes,
but
you
I'm
are.
not sure. Okay.
Yes, you are. We're going to jump straight into some listener email. Jay says, "Hey, Goose and Cronkite, I missed a radio show last week, but listened to it on your YouTube page. As always, you guys did a great job."
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Well, my first one is about a birthday.
Okay.
And I actually have a second birthday that I want to kind of wish out a happy birthday to a friend of our show, Noah. I hope you.
Hello, Noah. Happy birthday.
I hope you had an awesome birthday, buddy, and I hope you have a great week. This one is from Stephanie. It says, "Hey, here to Chew Bubblegum and my UFO circle. It's my birthday, and I'm going out tonight to watch for UFOs and stargaze. I'll be having fun and listening to you guys as I do this. Roswell."
Thank you very much, Stephanie, and happy birthday.
I can't think of a better way to celebrate a birthday than go watch UFOs and listen to ear candy.
There you go. While we're on the subject of birthdays, I also want to wish my grandfather happy 87 birthday. So his birthday is today. 87 years old.
Happy 87th birthday, Grandpa Goose.
Sloan.
Goose.
Sloan. Okay.
You are Goose, Grandpa Goose.
Okay. The next email is from Terry. Did you guys believe the Google internet balloon story from the Pike County sighting?
No.
Keep searching for the truth, Roswell. Man, you jumped on that quick.
I absolutely do not believe that.
Why?
I've covered this. I don't believe it.
Tell me again.
So for a year, there was nothing. Nobody could explain it. It was on newspapers. Nobody knew what it was. Blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Google says, "Oh yeah, no, that was totally ours." No, I don't believe that for a second. And now, if you look, everything that you see is Google search engines, Google phones, Google everything. So I think that maybe
does Google really make phones?
I don't know. I mean, I know it was on my old phone.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have an app for searches.
No. Like it was.
I don't use Google for my searches. I use Firefox.
It was Google Assistant on my old phone. That's what I'm saying. It's like it was kind of like the Apple's Siri. It was that for that phone. But then all of a sudden, Google just kind of explodes.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm.
Definitely.
I'm calling a little bit of BS because I think there might have been a little bit of, well, play ball with us and make it worth your while.
That could be. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Well, mine's evidently. Does Google have a phone? We'll find out if they do. Evidently not. Evidently mine's mad at me right now. So, let's see. Did you read your email?
I did.
Okay. My last one is from Ratliff. He's a listener of the show. Thank you very much, Ratliff, for writing in. And hello, greetings and salutations.
Did you skip one?
No, I did not.
Well, then it's my turn.
Okay. Well, that's what I thought. I'm going to go ahead and read mine.
You should go ahead and read yours, though.
Hello, Ratliff. Thank you for writing in. Hey, Goose, Cronkite, Ned, and Elliot, do you guys think you will ever do a roundtable show for the radio? That is an excellent question. Possible. We do have some more things in the works where we may have more time in the future on a radio station. And if we do get that, we will definitely have a roundtable on the radio.
We can only hope. I think that was the roundtable to me has been the best show so far. Funner than good. How about that? That's how you know. That's how you know it was a good time.
Sounds good to me, man.
All right. Eric says, I'm here to remind everyone.
Hello, Eric.
That these giant beings and dragons are 100% real. I've now seen their skin snake eyes.
Yeah, that's the one that when I was going through some of the email, I'm like, I'm going to let Cronkite read this one.
I'll read it with the same happiness that I read everyone.
Read that one more time.
I'm here to remind everyone that these giant beings and dragons are 100% real. I've now seen their skin snake eyes.
Okay. I don't know. Has there been any news of dragons or whatever?
I think a couple months ago there was a video that possibly looked like a dragon.
Come on,
but it was
man.
so far away that it could have been a bird.
Or it could have been a weather balloon.
Or it could have just been.
It could have been a Google balloon.
It could have been dust on his camera too. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Lazar fan says,
"Hey, Lazar fan, thank you for writing in.
Hey guys, I think Trump knows a lot about UFOs. As president, he was told about a lot of the subject. I think they also told him about cattle mutilations and abductions.
I could see that. I could see that.
Definitely.
You could be right. You know, I'm still amazed that he's not blurred out what he has been told.
From what I've gathered, the man seems to be the type of person that thinks that he's playing a long game,
right?
Or is attempting to play a game. So maybe he's not just blurting it out for holding out for a longer play, perhaps.
Yeah,
maybe?
But he's always put me in the mind of a guy that can't keep a secret.
I don't know. So, I mean, he is a billionaire.
Well,
I mean, he has to be able to keep some secrets, right?
Well, once they benefit him, probably, but how would that benefit him? Oh, Trump Tower on Mars. Okay, never mind. I understand. We want to thank everyone for writing in. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396. That's area code 606-373-3396. Or you can email us.
You can always email us, goose@heretochewbubblegum.com.
That's me.
Or Cronkite@heretochewbubblegum.com. We also have Ned and Elliot. You can reach those guys at heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com. We also have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yep.
Correct. Well, real quick in segment one, jumping into segment one real quick, I want to again thank Elliot and the Spooky family for hosting last week's podcast show.
Yes.
Episode 28. Great episode.
It certainly was.
Coming up, on the Sunday show, we'll have some email that we'll be reading for some Elliot fans. And if you've not listened to that, be sure to check that out. Again, that's episode 28 of Here to Chew Bubblegum. Did somebody text on the app?
They have not. No.
Okay.
I'm shoring something up for my first story.
Got you. Okay. But anyway, once again, I want to say thank you very much, Ellie, Gertie, and Beagle. On the show, and I know you've not listened to it yet. You'll be listening to it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all the free time I really have.
And I hope that I don't spoil it for you, but if so,
That's okay.
They talked about the Back to the Future movies with some 9/11 conspiracies.
Oh.
It was very, very, very interesting. Totally different take on it. Their take on the moon landing at points had me laughing, you know. They also talked about Richard Nixon and his friend and actor Jackie Gleason. And we actually mentioned that on this show a few weeks ago.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and they went in more in depth than what we did. And then there was a very special announcement in the episode.
He finally did it.
And no, he
knew it.
He
I knew
is
it.
not a
Atta
time
boy.
traveler.
Atta boy.
He's not a time traveler. They're a very special announcement, and he did get a little emotional. And I'm gonna be honest, just listening to him, I got a little emotional.
Did you cry?
You know.
Did you cry something?
No, I didn't. I think Elliot did. You know, but we're not going to poke and make fun of him because
I'm not going to
Elliot is the real deal. You know.
Make fun of you.
But I didn't cry.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Anyway, the a special announcement that they made again on episode 28 is Elliot and the Spooky family are going to have their own podcast starting very soon.
That is exciting.
That's very, very exciting. And I wish them nothing but the best. And, you know, I hope that we get to keep Elliot doing Elliot's articles and join us for the roundtables.
I sure hope so.
So,
I mean, I guess that's almost as cool as being from the future.
Being from the future. See, you never said he was from the future. Well, yeah, actually you did.
3062.
Yeah, as time traveler. Yeah, see, told you were wrong. Told you.
Yeah. I still think he's a time traveler.
So, what do you want to start out with?
All right. So I have two stories here that we're going to
Yes.
talk about that are they're kind of related, but they're two totally different stories.
Well, we may let you get one, then we'll take a break and then come back.
So, Navy astronaut and sixth man on the moon believed in alien intervention, and this is something we've talked about for a while now.
Yes, we have.
If you kind of get the when I start saying years here, you're going to start to notice that that's around the time that we talked about being high on or the height of the Cold War, stuff like that. You know, nuclear devices, things like that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
Astronaut Edgar Mitchell is best known for typing in 80 lines of code to save the entire Apollo 14 mission as it descended to the moon in 1971. But he also claimed that the top military officials had hidden evidence of UFOs, potentially alien spacecraft, and that they were particularly fond of hovering over White Sands testing range in New Mexico. White Sands was a testing ground for atomic weapons, and that's what the extraterrestrials were interested in, is what he told the UK Mirror in 2015. They wanted to know about our military capabilities. My own experience talking to the people has made it clear that ETs had been attempting to keep us from going to war and help create peace on Earth. Mitchell also told the Mirror that other military personnel had confided in him that alien spacecraft were responsible for disabling nuclear missiles and for shooting them down over the Pacific coast. He started talking publicly about his less mainstream beliefs in 1973, just 2 years after landing on the moon, when he abruptly left NASA, divorced his wife, and founded the Institute for Noetic Sciences. He used that as a platform to discuss exploring new worlds in ways separate from known science or religion. He became every time I take a breath, do you hear that?
Yes.
It sounds like it skips out.
No, I don't hear it.
It sounds like it skips out. Maybe I'm breathing in too hard.
I don't know.
Perhaps. You've just been waiting to use that one, haven't you? He used that as a platform to discuss exploring new worlds and ways to separate from known science or religion. He became convinced that extraterrestrial life had been visiting Earth and helping humanity along a more spiritual path. Mitchell began to form his metaphysical and extraterrestrial beliefs during his training as an aviator, but he wasn't known as a kook or prone to making wild statements. He was one of the U.S. military's most able and brilliant pilots. See, there again, we're talking about highly experienced aviators. This man landed on the moon.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you can't – people who believe that we have been visited, or you cannot dismiss their observations any longer. You can't.
We have been visited.
Absolutely. I'm not saying you personally.
Well, you know what? I'm talking about mankind, Earth,
Yes.
this planet.
Well, no, right. But I wasn't saying like you are dismissing. I'm not saying you
Right.
personally were dismissing.
Gotcha.
So let's see. NASA would recognize this potential as well, giving Mitchell the chance to live his dream, and since President John F. Kennedy challenged the United States to land on the moon. So of course he landed Apollo 14. Mitchell spent most of his adult life in the U.S. Navy. He was a naval aviator before attending the Navy's postgraduate school. And basically this just continues to go over a lot of his background. And he was in NASA. He was a Navy test pilot, PhD in aeronauticals and astronomics from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Eventually attended the U.S. Air Force Research Pilot School to become a test pilot. He graduated first in his class as a pilot. He was instructed astronauts in mathematics and navigation. In 1966, just 13 years after enlisting, he became a NASA astronaut. So this is not a dumb human. This is not someone
No,
who is
not at all.
Who is looking to the skies and like, oh, what's that? This is a man who sees.
That's a Bobby Dangler.
Yeah, this is a man who sees something. He thinks about it logically for a moment,
Right.
and then he still comes to these conclusions. And these are the same conclusions that we have all been talking about for years, decades.
Yeah, definitely. Not to change gears, but I want to bring this up before I forget it.
Sure.
The Pikeville Comic and Toy Convention will be back in full swing this year.
That's exciting.
It's happening July 31st, 2021 from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. They're not having any celebrities due to, still the COVID-19 virus.
Right.
But they will have their cosplay contest, plenty of vendors and exhibitors, and we are going to try to be there as well.
That's exciting.
So, July 31st, Appalachia Wireless Arena in downtown Pikeville, Kentucky.
This will be our first event, won't it?
Yes, it will.
That's
Yes,
exciting stuff. Come join us.
You please do not do anything to embarrass me.
I don't have to worry about. I have to worry about you embarrassing me.
Really? No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no.
yeah.
No, we don't.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're going to step away and have a short break. Elliot's articles, Ned said, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And what do you have for us?
I want to talk about the Minuteman Intercontinental Ballistic Missile.
Okay. Hey, I have.
I can tell by that look. It's UFO related.
Is that really the name of the Minuteman?
Minuteman Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. It's a Minuteman series.
Was it made by Minute Maid?
No, it was. Okay. It is. It's the name of the rockets that are basically to shoot nuclear warheads at other people.
Oh, okay.
Ready in a minute.
Gotcha.
Minuteman, and also the Minutemen were like an old Army regiment or something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
But what are we listening to?
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
When you want fresh, authentic Mexican food, you want El Picante in Coal Run. Dine on sizzling hot fajitas, the freshest pico de gallo, or if you're craving their secret ingredient jalapeno dip, the only place you'll find it is El Picante. Look, there are Mexican restaurants on every corner. The difference is in the mouth-watering food and the great service you'll get at El Picante in Coal Run. Visit El Picante for lunch today.
Are you a horror movie fan?
Yeah, I dig horror movies.
Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to?
Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy.
Then you need to tune into deadpit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make deadpit.com your #1 horror station destination.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
The City of Coal Run Village Mayor Andrew Scott and City Commissioners Beverly Joe Osborne, Big Joe Atkins, Trey Eskins, and Mike Steele encourage you to shop local.
With over 200 businesses, the city of Coal Run Village offers games, restaurants, gas, auto parts, cars, and much more.
You'll find all of this and more in the city of Coal Run Village. Shop local and shop often. Hey everyone, this is Goose from Here to Chew Bubblegum. I want to tell you about my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com. T-Shirt Joe is your go-to guy for all your custom work. Also, you can check out their website and find artist originals, college shirts, comics, famous folk, fetish, military, movie shirts, occupations, podcast and website shirts, plus he has face masks and many other items over at FastCustomShirts.com. While there at their website, you can sign up for their newsletter. Or you can give Joe a call at area code 361-814-9212. That's 361-814-9212 to contact my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com.
Researching the inner workings of the net to bring you stories of the strange and unusual. It's Elliot's Articles on Here to Chew Bubblegum. Take it away, Elliot.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be listening. This is Elliot with Elliot's Articles on Here to Chew Bubblegum. I am without my family tonight. They are busy getting the mansion ready for our new podcast, debuting July 1st everywhere you can listen to podcasts. That is the Spooky Family Podcast. And if you want to visit our website, you can do that right now. It's live, spookyfamilypodcast.com. Make sure you check that out. I got a pretty good little story for you today. Nearly 120 years after alleged UFO crash, a small town in Texas is all about the alien. This was from KaraNews.org by Christopher Connolly. It was originally published on April the 18th, 2016. According to legend and a Texas historical marker, early in the morning on April 17th, 1897, something strange happened in the small town of Aurora, about 30 miles northwest of Fort Worth. A cigar-shaped airship was seen falling from the sky when it crashed through a windmill and exploded. The airship, it is said, was not of this world. The pilot, from Mars people thought at the time, was allegedly buried with Christian rites at the nearby Aurora Cemetery, also originally known as the Masonic Cemetery. The Wise County town recently hosted a conference to commemorate the UFO crash. Folks have different opinions about what happened nearly 120 years ago. Tony Wheeler first heard the story of the crash when she was a kid growing up in Aurora. An older neighbor would sit on his porch and tell stories. Then I started asking my grandfather about it, and he would snicker about it, Wheeler said. And my grandmother said it's hogwash. But my uncles would discuss it, especially my Uncle Marvin. He loved to tell tall tales anyway, and he really got on to telling all kinds of stories, and Ned's story was one of them. Many folks in Aurora call the alien Ned. He's the extraterrestrial pilot that is said to have been buried in the town. Wheeler came up with his name, and it stuck. I wonder if he had an article in the Aurora newspaper called Ned Said. Maybe not. Who knows? Wheeler's family has been in Aurora for several generations. She's been Aurora's city administrator for more than a decade. On Saturday, Wheeler spent the day leading bus trips to the crash site and the Old Town Cemetery. It was part of the Aurora Alien Encounter conference she helped organize. Now remember, this was from 2016, so this was pre-COVID. When you hear of the conference, it happened way before COVID-19. Researchers have looked into the story for years, testing water in the well where the wreckage was said to be stored, digging metal out of trees at the crash site as proof something exploded, and using radar to see if there really is a Ned in Ned's grave. In the 1970s, Wheeler says people even tried to exhume the remains. You cannot exhume a grave unless you notify the next of kin, Wheeler says with a smile. And that's how the Cemetery Association got the court injunction in 1972 to keep them from exhuming the remains. Now, this wasn't the only UFO sighting in Texas in the spring of 1897. New telescope technology had allowed people to see the face of Mars more clearly than ever, though maybe not quite clearly enough. An Italian astronomer in 1888 announced he'd seen evidence of canals on the red planet. People kind of freaked out, said E.R. Bills. an author who wrote about the Aurora incident in his book, Texas Obscurities. It was the first serious discussion of maybe there being life. So when this crash happened here, people had heard of that, and that's why they assumed the pilot was from Mars. Now, this is an excellent story, folks. The Dallas Morning News, taking at face value that it was indeed an extraterrestrial event, linked Ned's ship to a series of UFO sightings from around the country, and quoted a U.S. Signal Service officer who gives it as his opinion that this was a native of the planet Mars. Papers found on his person, evidently a record of his travels, were written in some unknown hieroglyphics and cannot be deciphered, the newspaper reported. The ship was too badly wrecked to form any conclusion as to its construction or motive power. It was built of an unknown metal, resembling somewhat a mixture of aluminum and silver. There were lots of theories about what happened back in 1897. There still are. Some thought it was a man-made dirigible that crashed, others called it a hoax. Some at the time saw it as a sign of Judgment Day approaching. These days in Aurora, there's more tension over whether the city should embrace the alien story. There's been people that are a part of our city council that are part of other committees throughout the city who have threatened resignation for us being involved in this, says Amanda Smith, Aurora Historical and Preservation Commission Secretary. It is that serious. The conference is just one way the town is cashing in on its lore. There are plans for an alien-themed haunted house this fall. A statue's in the works, featuring a broken windmill and the flying saucer that Ned crashed into. I live not far from here, and every day, there are people lined up at the cemetery looking around, Smith says. And from a business standpoint, and a marketing standpoint, that is an asset we're not capitalizing on. More than just a business opportunity, though. She says embracing the town's quirky history is a way to preserve its unique identity as it is enveloped into the outer suburbs of Fort Worth. Without that history, she said, our heritage goes away, and Aurora becomes just another part of the conglomerate. Smith says she was pleased with the conference's turnout. The venue, she said, was at capacity. Conference organizers say that they want this to be a yearly tradition. Like a lot of attendees, Richard Wall said he's had his own UFO encounter. Several years back, he says he saw glowing spheres in the sky that flew off with a sonic boom. As for the 1897 crash, though, Wall is skeptical. I'm sure somebody saw something, and they're trying to make something plausible of the story behind what they saw, he says. His wife, Dolly Moravitz, shook her head at the husband's disbelief. I believe it, she says. I really do, because there are other beings out there. We're not the only ones out here. The two together share the views that so many people who turn out to learn more about the event, that even if Ned didn't crash land in Aurora in 1897, it doesn't mean that Ned's cousins aren't out there. Now, I found the text that is on the marker, and so I wanted to read that to you real quick. The oldest known graves here, dating from as early as the 1860s, are those of the Randall and Rowlett families. Finis Dudley Beauchamp, 1825 to 1893, a Confederate veteran from Mississippi, donated the 3-acre site to the newly formed Aurora Lodge No. 479 AF and AM in 1877. For many years, this community burial ground was known as the Masonic Cemetery. Beauchamp, his wife Caroline, and others in their family were buried here. An epidemic which struck the village in 1891 added hundreds of graves to the plot. Originally, it was called spotted fever by the settlers. The disease is now thought to be in a form of meningitis. Located in Aurora Cemetery is the gravestone of the infant Nellie Burris from 1891 to 1893, with its often quoted epitaph, "As I was so soon done, I don't know why I was begun." This site is also well known because of the legend that a spaceship crashed nearby in 1897, and the pilot killed in the crash was buried here. Struck by epidemic and crop failure and bypassed by the railroad, the original town of Aurora almost disappeared. But the cemetery remains in use for over 800 graves. Veterans of Civil War, World Wars I and II, the Korean and Vietnam conflicts are all interred here. So that's a nice little story about, an alien crash landing in the 1800s in Texas. You've been listening to Elliot's Articles. I am Elliot. Don't forget the Spooky Family Podcast coming July 1st, and the Roundtable's coming up. I'm excited about that. You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum with Goose and Cronkite. Stay vigilant, listeners. Elliot out.
It's now time for Ned Said on Here to Chew Bubblegum.
If the moon supposedly smells like gunpowder, I wonder what Uranus smells like.
Greetings.
We come in peace.
The City of Coal Run Village Mayor Andrew Scott and City Commissioners Beverly Jo Osborne Big Joe Atkins, Trey Eskins, and Mike Steele encourage you to shop local.
With over 200 businesses, the city of Coal Run Village offers games, restaurants, gas, auto parts, cars, and much more.
You'll find all of this and more in the city of Coal Run Village. Shop local and shop often. Hey everyone, this is Goose from Here to Chew Bubblegum. I want to tell you about my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com. T-Shirt Joe is your go-to guy for all your custom work. Also, you can check out their website and find artist originals, college shirts, comics, famous folk, fetish, military, movie shirts, occupations, podcast and website shirts, plus he has face masks and many other items over at FastCustomShirts.com. While there at their website, you can sign up for their newsletter. Or you can give Joe a call at area code 361-814-9212. That's 361-814-9212 to contact my friend T-Shirt Joe at FastCustomShirts.com.
Are you a horror movie fan?
Yeah, I dig horror movies.
Are you searching for a great internet horror talk radio show to listen to?
Why, sure, that sounds quite spiffy.
Then you need to tune into DeadPit.com. It's the original horror talk radio show. Dead Pit is a show by the fans and for the fans. Uncensored and unbiased opinions are the goal of the show, giving fans honest reviews on new films and vintage classics of the horror genre. Make DeadPit.com your #1 horror station destination.
When you want fresh, authentic Mexican food, you want El Picante in Coal Run. Dine on sizzling hot fajitas, the freshest pico de gallo, or if you're craving their secret ingredient jalapeno dip, the only place you'll find it is El Picante. Look, there are Mexican restaurants on every corner. The difference is in the mouth-watering food and the great service you'll get at El Picante in Coal Run. Visit El Picante for lunch today.
You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum, 606-373-3396. You can also send an email to goose@heretochewbubblegum.com or cronkite@heretochewbubblegum.com.
No one knows inside me. She said, what's in your head? I keep running into her face, seeking for answers. I keep on fighting for that perfect world. So much out of life, burn saddle for so less, scarred from her memories, burned from her ways. Now I wonder how she's doing. Is everything alright? And I wake up and I know it's just a dream, just to get me away. And I realize I'm not sleeping and I wanna go back under to you. Just go away. Just go away. Pictures to see her eyes when she was herself. say you're so beautiful, the way I always said. And I wake up and I know it's just a dream, just to get me away. And I realize I'm not sleeping and I wanna go back under to you. Just go away. Just go away.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
They love us. They really love us.
Thank you very much. I like that. I like that new toy. So, let's see. You're going to. I will let you start off.
Okay.
If that sounds good.
Sure thing. So this is the extraordinary events that happened in 1967 to the U.S. Air Force Strategic Air Command Missile Combat Officers. Wow, that's a long title. And other enlisted personnel. Missilers assigned to operate, maintain, and protect the Minuteman Intercontinental Ballistic Missiles, an essential part of America's Cold War strategic nuclear element.
Yes.
All right, so this one's called Echo Flight.
Okay.
And this was one of the silos, I guess. In central Montana, Thursday morning, March 16th, 1967, Captain Eric Carlson and First Lieutenant Walt Figgle, the Echo Flight missile combat crew, were below ground in the E-Flight Launch Control Center. The Echo Flight Launch Control Center was located between Winfred and Hilger, about 15 miles north of Lewistown. Missile maintenance crews and security teams were camped out at two of the launch facilities, having performed some work during the previous day and stayed there overnight. During the early morning hours, more than one report came in from the security patrols and maintenance crews that they had seen UFOs. A UFO was reported directly above the E-Flight launch facility, or silos. It turned out that at least one security policeman was also affected by this encounter, that he never again returned to missile security duty. That's
wow.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
wonder, did it scare him to death?
Must have.
So.
Must have. Around 8:30 a.m., Figgle, the deputy crew commander, was briefing Carlson, the crew commander, on the flight status when the alarm sounded. One of the Minuteman missiles they supervised had gone off of alert. Basically, it became inoperable.
Right.
It was like a no-go. It was one of these two sites where maintenance crews had camped out on site. Upset, thinking that the maintenance personnel had failed to notify him as required by procedure when maintenance work is done on a missile, that the missile was going off alert status, Figgle immediately called the missile site. When Figgle spoke to the on-site security guard, he reported that they had not yet performed any maintenance that morning. He also stated that the UFO had been hovering over the site. So now you have a UFO that's been hovering over the silo, essentially.
Right.
However, now other missiles started going off alert in rapid succession. Within seconds, the entire flight of 10 ICBMs were down. All of the missiles reported a no-go condition, one by one across the board. Each missile had become inoperable. When the checklist procedure had been completed for each missile site, it was discovered that each of the missiles had gone off of alert status due to guidance and control system fault. Power had not been lost to the sites. The missiles were simply not operational because, for some unexplainable reason, each of their guidance and control systems had malfunctioned. Two security alert teams were dispatched to echo to those sites. where the maintenance crews were present. Figel had not informed the strike teams that one of the on-site guards had reported a UFO. On arrival at the launch facility, the security alert team reported back to that the UFOs had been seen hovering over each of the two sites by all of the maintenance and security personnel present at the site. Captain Don Crawford crew relieved the Echo flight later that morning. Crawford recalls that both Carlson and Figel were still visibly shaken by what had occurred. Crawford also recalled the maintenance crews working on the missiles the entire day and late into the night shift during his shift to bring them all back on alert. Not only had missiles been lost to the deterrent forces, but had remained out of service for an entire day. So then that was Echo Flight. So now Oscar Flight. Oscar Flight was located a mile or two south of town of Roy, about 20 miles southeast of the Echo Flight. The following is told by Robert Salas, who was the DMCCC in Oscar Flight that morning. Now, going back, that's I think that's the deputy crew commander.
Now is this similar to the not the Battle of Los Angeles, but the yes, I guess there's another story out west where they had a bunch of stuff. Go off.
This would be the if you remember me talking about UFOs that were disabling nuclear missiles.
Yes,
in like Montana or Nebraska or whatever. This is going to be that story.
That was it. Yeah. That was it.
All right, so the following is told by Robert Salas. My recollection is that I was on duty as Deputy Missile Commander below ground of the Launch Command Center during the morning hours of March 16th, 1967. Outside above the subterranean LCC capsule, it was a typical clear, cold Montana night sky. There were a few inches of snow on the ground. When we were there, there were no lights to detract from the spectacular array of stars, and it was not uncommon to see shooting stars. Montana isn't called Big Sky Country for no reason. An airman on duty topside probably spent some of their time outside looking up at the stars. It was one of those airmen who first saw what at first appeared to be a star begin to zigzag across the sky. Then he saw another light do the same thing, and then this time larger and closer. He asked the flight security controller, the non-commissioned officer. He's the non-commissioned officer in charge of the Launch Control Center, to come take a look. And they both stood there watching the light streak directly above them, stop, change directions at high speeds, and return overhead. The NCO ran into the building and phoned me right away. He reported to me that they had been seeing lights, making strange maneuvers of the facility, and they weren't aircraft. He says he replied, "Great, you just keep watching them and let me know if they get any closer." I did not take this report seriously and directed them to report back if anything significant had happened. At that time, I believed this, first of all, to be a joke. Still, this sort of behavior was definitely out of character for air security policemen whose communication with us was usually very professional. Let's see. So a few minutes later, the security NCO called again. This time he was clearly frightened and shouting his words. "Sir, there's something hovering outside the gate." 1 watt was replied. A UFO, it's just sitting there. We're all just looking at it. What do you want us to do? What does it look like? I can't really describe it. It's glowing red. What are we supposed to do? Make sure the sign is secure and off on the command post. Sir, I have to go now. One of my guys just got injured. So this basically just continues to go on.
Right.
And Oscar Flight's missiles end up going down, as well as Echo Flight's, and they both describe seeing a red UFO. Later, around the town's Montana area,
right,
there was a lot more people who had seen the same thing. All right, so an investigation into what could have caused these missiles to just stop working. So an in-depth post-incident investigation of the Echo Flight incident was undertaken. Full-scale on-site laboratory tests at the Boeing Company's Seattle plant were conducted. Declassified strategic missile wing documents and interviews with ex-Boeing engineers who conducted test flights. The E-Flight incident investigation confirmed that no cause for the missile shutdowns was ever found.
Wow. So they never found the cause of the shutdown.
They have no idea why 20 missiles went down.
So it was unknown.
Unknown.
and the government now are referring to UAPs as unknowns.
And you know what's strange is that it's not like you say one person that has seen this. There are multiple witnesses that saw this over these two sites that night, and the experts can't say why it happened.
I can't remember. It may have been TikTok I saw this on, but you know we've been looking forward to the June 1st disclosure date.
Yes.
Apparently, it's not going to be June 1st. It's like June 22nd or 27th. That's when the disclosure date is. I did not know that. I was not aware of that.
I wasn't either.
Well, you've heard of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, correct?
I have.
Started out as Wright Field.
I have. I've been there.
I'm going to tell you a story after a brief introduction. For those of you who don't know, the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base definitely remains one of the more mystery-shrouded military bases in the United States. From what historians do know about this military base, Wright-Patterson was the place where the nation's leading military scientists reverse-engineered Russian aircrafts during the Cold War. Well, with the Cold War being over, the base still remains in operation. What do they do there now? Do you know what they do there?
Yeah, they got airplanes.
Okay. What they do there now could be anything.
Actually, I think
the construction.
I think it's a refueling center. I think that's where their tankers take off.
Do you actually believe that?
Well, I mean, I've been there a few times, and that's what you see flying around.
Okay. Well, with the construction of a new spy plane or reverse engineering foreign technology, they could likely be doing that at that location. Conspiracy theorists believe that the Wright-Patterson is a location where scientists reverse engineered alien technology, in particular in Hangar 18. That has been called a hotbed of extraterrestrial activity. Now, this story, in 1957, this lady wishes to remain anonymous, and she does not give her father's name as well. But her story starts out, says, in 1957, my father took me to see a movie, Earth versus the Flying Saucers. On the way home, he was unusually quiet. Finally, he said they were too big. He then told me that 10 years earlier, he had been stationed at Wright Field in Dayton, Ohio, where he was part of a film unit. One day, an officer came and told him and another man to grab a couple of 16mm cameras and follow him. They took them to the heavily guarded Hangar 18. Inside was a badly damaged circular craft, about an acre of debris placed on a canvas tarp. My father and his friend were instructed to get footage of everything, and they did just that. They were then taken into a refrigerated unit at the rear of the hangar. Inside the unit was what my father described as a museum case holding the bodies of two small creatures. Gray, they were thin, large eyes, but no eyelids. One showed severe wounds, and the other one had no visible injuries. They were instructed to get footage of the creatures. When the case was opened to allow for better shots, there was a smell similar to dead fish. When they finished filming, the cameras were confiscated instead of being taken back to the lab for processing. My father said that he and his friend were literally sworn to secrecy. My father only spoke of this to me that one time and made me promise never to tell anyone. Since he recently passed away, I feel I am now at liberty to relate his story. My father was very patriotic and very religious and not prone to making things up. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's entirely possible. That the Air Force Base is enormous. I mean, It is a huge place. And plus, that's supposedly where the material from the 47 crash of Roswell was taken.
Yes, it was. Later in this show and in the podcast show, we'll have some more stories of that took place, supposedly at Wright Field or in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, some of these, and I think me and you talked about this maybe a month or so ago. I was telling you about this article that I found, and two people that don't know each other that were there at different times, like 15 to 20 years apart, told the same exact story.
Right. And, I was watching something about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and there was supposedly these hangars that this material was kept in are ceramic coated.
Yeah.
Which is why. It's interesting,
Do you think that we could call Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and ask for Hangar 18 and get transferred to Hangar 18?
Probably not, but you're more than welcome to.
Okay. We will try it here then. Does that sound like something you're interested in or not really?
No.
No, you're not interested in it?
Not interested at all.
Why not?
Because I don't want to die today.
You're not going to do that. What's wrong with you? Oh, man. Cannot believe
In the Air Force Base Directory Assistance Line. If this is a police, a fire, or medical emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the base hospital and pharmacy, press 1. For security forces or the fire department, press 2.
No options.
For ID or CAC requests.
Maybe that's not a good idea. I can just tell by the look on your face. You're not really into that, are you?
Well, no, it's not really that I'm not into it. It's
yes,
it could be dangerous.
How?
I don't know.
Dude, you have called Ingersoll Lockwood on the show, and you're saying that could be dangerous?
Well, we know for a fact they have guns.
Well, so that doesn't mean we have cookies.
Well, I mean, what are we going to do? We're going to throw cookies at them?
Well, let me ask you a question. If you had a gun and I had a cookie, which one would you rather have?
Which one would I rather have?
Yeah.
I'd rather have the gun.
Oh, okay. I'm calling somebody else here. It's a buddy of mine. He's into computers and technology, and I want to get his opinion on something.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey, buddy. How's it going? You're with Goose and Cronkite on Here to Chew Bubblegum on 104.9 WXLR.
That sounds awesome. What's going on, guys?
Not much. We were recording the show for this Sunday, and I'm sorry I didn't give you advance notice. I did that on purpose. I didn't want you to chicken out and back out.
I believe that 100%.
Now, I know that you listen to the show. I don't know if you get to listen to every show, but are you aware of the June disclosure date coming up where the government is going to supposedly tell us what they know about UAPs, not UFOs, UAPs?
Right. No, I was not aware of that.
Really? Well, you must be living under a rock, my friend.
I am. It's called my wife.
See?
She doesn't listen to the show, does she?
Oh, I'll make sure she doesn't.
Let's say that they do release this. I have two questions for you, Cherokee. The first one, do you think that technology will advance if they do come clean and say, aliens are real, they've been real, we knew about them since blah, blah, blah? Do you think technology will advance pretty quick, or it will take its time?
Well, of course, technology has been advancing faster and faster every generation, although I believe that if they do have any advanced technology from alien life forms, they've more than likely already stripped the technology out of it.
Okay. Now, my second question is, you work in technology, correct?
I do.
Okay. Within the last, Cronkite, year, have you saw an advance in anything that you work on, or stuff simplified to whereas it used to take 10, 12, 15 steps, now you can do stuff in like one click of a button? Have you saw anything like that? Really?
Absolutely, especially with home automation.
Right. Now,
it used to be you had to set everything up, and now there's several places where you can create one-click button to do, just hundreds of different processes.
Right. Now, does that kind of amaze you? Do you think that that's technology that humans came up with?
That I kind of do. As far as the advancement of computers with how they just keep growing and growing yearly, I think that could be based off a lot of alien technology, things like that, and even something like the invention of the microwave back in the 50s or whatever. I think that could have been alien technology as well.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it on the show too. I think that came, and you had a lot of technology after Roswell. I think that came from Roswell.
Oh, definitely.
You had Wi-Fi.
We had a boom after that.
Yes, we did.
Well, and here's the question I have. Once we figure out, or once they come to disclosure, and we figure out that, like, I think they call it non-point energy. Basically, it's free energy.
Yeah.
When they realize that, or when we realize that we could have been doing that the whole time, we wouldn't have to worry about fossil fuels or our vehicles running or energy for our homes. How do you think the world is going to react to that?
Well, I don't think they'll. I don't think they would disclose that. I think they would keep that to themselves.
And I agree with Cherokee on that.
Yeah, that's kind of something I thought they would probably never disclose either. But just in case they do,
Well, you know,
I mean, if they do, I mean, they got a lot of explaining to do.
Yes, they do.
Definitely.
Well, we just, Croncat had the bright idea. We were talking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and Croncat had the bright idea. He's like, hey, let's call them. So we called them, and, we chickened out during the going through the phone menu. So I don't know why he did that for.
Yeah.
So.
You guys are on some kind of list now. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well, we've been on that list for quite a while because.
Well, I work for the Department of Defense, and I keep that list. And I added you guys a long time ago.
Wow. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Well, you a long time ago. Contact recently.
Well, Cherokee, I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. Thank you very much for answering the phone. Sorry I didn't give you a heads up. This was kind of the spur of the moment type thing, but I hope things are going good. Give my best to Mrs. Cherokee and Little Chief.
We'll do. And I love the show, guys. Keep it going.
All right.
It's great. You guys are doing awesome.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks,
Have
man.
a good one.
It was nice talking to you too, Cronkite.
You too. Take care now.
All right.
See you.
Bye.
Again, that was a friend of mine, Cherokee. He does work in technology. Now, and that's something we've never really talked about. Think about the last year. He's seen computer technology advance rapidly.
Oh, yeah. And which now, computers have always advanced pretty quickly, but now they seem like they're speeding up.
Okay. I have knew him since 2005.
Yeah.
And for him to say that, that probably shocked him that it, has advanced like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I mean, what I am saying is like computers are always advanced very quickly, but to have someone who actually works with technology say that.
That kind of makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah, it's also exciting. I can't wait for the chip implant.
Why? You mean you'd actually take a chip implant?
Yes.
Why?
Because if I lose an arm, they can just bolt another one on.
Well, I can 3D print you one.
Yeah, but then my chip implant can work the arm.
I could still 3D print you
and
one.
also, instead of having to...
You're in love with a puppet.
And instead of having to pull my debit card out to swap for cookies at the cookie factory, I can just wave my hand in front of it.
Really?
Yeah.
You would do something like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I don't get free cookies, Goose. You upper management types get free cookies.
I do not get
We have to pay for you sit on your fat chairs.
Fat chairs. What is that supposed to mean?
You heard me.
Chairs. No,
No, you heard me, and I said every word of it.
No. We're going to wrap it up. I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed this show. Again, coming up this Sunday, when this show airs, you can check out episode 29 with myself and Cronkite.
That's me. And
coming very soon, we will have our next roundtable on the podcast show.
Looking forward to that.
I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, CK Uncle Bill and the rest of the gang at deadpit.com, T-Shirt Joe at fastcustomshirts.com. Special thanks to Cherokee for talking to us on the phone a little bit.
Definitely.
Be sure to check out Talk Junkie with our friend Justin and Down on the Holler with Jordan, Brad, and Jordan. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
We'll see you.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.